Hi YouTube gun people. Today I'm making a video to show you how to make this from this. First, let me give you a little explanation why the hell you would want to make that from that. A little while ago I injured my shoulder. I'm not sure whether I tore my rotator cuff or what, but it hurt like hell. And I couldn't take the recoil, even from a wimpy 223. So I started thinking, what can I do to redirect the recoil? And I came up with this. This is made of Kydex, and it is designed to put all the recoil over your pectoral muscle, as well as your chest wall. So as opposed to directing all those recoil forces to two little bony areas here in your shoulder, it directs it over a much wider area with muscle cover. Then I got interested in the 300 Blackout, and as you all know, that was designed to be shot out of a barrel less than 16 inches. And I started looking into the whole SBR thing versus one of those braces that you can put here on one day and not here the next day. And I was watching some YouTube videos on that, and I ran across a guy named Adam Kraut from the Gun Collective, and he was explaining the National Firearms Act. That's where I first heard that a rifle is defined as a weapon designed or redesigned, made or remade, with the intent to be fired from the shoulder. At that point, some light bulbs went off. I have just made something before that was designed and made to avoid all contact with the shoulder. So after researching the law, I thought to myself, why can't I put this on this? This is designed, redesigned, made and remade with the intent not to be fired from the shoulder. Therefore, I would say this is a pistol. Now, I'm not trying to give legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, so you can take what I say with a grain of salt. You know, this is my chest wall. This is my shoulder. Now, I'm sure all you guys that have just spent $200 for a tax stamp are going to say, oh no, that's illegal. Or any of you guys that just spent $150 for something you can put here one day and here the next, but not the next day. You're going to say, oh, that's illegal. But if you're just starting to build a AR pistol, you might go, hey, this isn't a bad idea. I have sent a letter to the ATF to get their opinion. But one thing I'm sure of is my heart is not in my shoulder. My lungs are not in my shoulder. A thoracotomy is not shoulder surgery. So maybe the ATF can redefine human anatomy, I don't know. So I tried to shop this idea around to a couple of the brace makers, and they kind of treated me like I had some kind of lethal contagious disease. So I said, to hell with it. I'm just gonna show you guys out there how to make one of these for 15 bucks. So let's get started. Okay, here is a basic mil spec buttstock. I got this one off eBay for 10 bucks. I've seen them for 9 bucks now. And also you'll need some basic tools, a saw, some Loctite, a drill, and other exotic things like a spatula, screwdriver, couple drill bits, and some sandpaper. Now, of course, you can get more involved with any of this, but I'm trying to make this as basic as possible. So here we are at the vise. Now, you can do this without a vise. It's just something to hold it. I'm just kind of eyeballing this, and we're just going to saw through. First cut. Second cut, we're just going to take this off here. Just sawing down to our previous cut. Need to go a little bit deeper the other way. To take this off. Then we're just going to do an angled cut. Now you can hand sand all this, or you can use any sanding device that you have. Random orbital sander, a belt sander, anything at all to just smooth all this out. And we'll go ahead and do that and be back with you in a minute. So far we've taken a mil-spec buttstock, removed the area that's taped off here, and we have this. And now we need to go from here to here. So onward to the next step. Now what we're going to do next is put a chest wall plate on this. I've made this out of Kydex. You can use any type of flexible plastic. And that's where, for $1, you can get yourself a spatula and cut this down to any size and shape you want. Okay, I've gone ahead and removed this thing for the sling. There's a little screw. You just unscrew it, it pops right out. You can use any size nut and bolt you want to put the chest wall plate on. I've decided to go ahead with 1/4 by 20, just because I have those laying around. But like I said, you can use anything you want. I do not know the size of what those are, but I'm sure you guys can figure that out. Okay, so we're just going to simply, the hole is going to be offset here, up in the corner, and that's just so it sits on your chest and there's no chance it's going to come out and impact with your shoulder. Just pick a spot, and there you go. In addition, I've already drilled this out, made it just a little bit bigger to accommodate the nut and bolt that I have. Now before we go ahead and put those two together, you have to decide what you want to use as some padding here. So what I'm going to use here is a simple piece of floor mat, obviously, and we're just going to cut that to size for the chest wall plate that I already just drilled. Now you do want to get this as close as possible to the plastic piece, just to cut down on the amount of sanding that you have to do. Okay, now we'll simply assemble these two. And before you screw it tight, you're going to want to go ahead and put some epoxy between the two of these. So let's do that. This is a simple $2 thing of Loctite that I got at the dollar store. Okay, I've smeared the epoxy between these two pieces, and now we're just going to tighten it down and I put it where we want it. Okay, we'll go ahead and let that settle. Okay, I've put epoxy all over this plate. On this first one I made, you can see I drilled out for the pad. On this one I just removed material from the pad to put it on there. So we're just going to stick those two together and wait for the epoxy to set up. Now if you want to, you can drive a second little screw into this just to give it a little more rotational security, but you can see once the epoxy sets up, this isn't going to move on you. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is decide how you want to attach it to the buffer tube. Probably the easiest thing to do is to just simply epoxy the whole thing on. Put it on, measure where you want your length to pull, and mark it on the buffer tube and just epoxy the whole thing on. If you want to get a little bit more involved, what you can do is to remove the adjustment mechanism on the millstock buffer tube, and I'll show you how to do that right here. It's very easy. Now what there is, there's a tiny little pin right here, and all you have to do is punch that through. Then this will simply unscrew and fall out, and you can take that out. If you're using a traditional mil-spec 5-position buffer tube, all you need to do is drop this back in. Hold it with one finger and screw this back on. So all you've really done is remove this. Now what you can do is, again, decide where you want it on the tube. Okay, make sure to get some epoxy in the correct hole, and just pull this out, put it on the tube, and boom, it's epoxied on. For you guys that are going to want to put this on a pistol buffer tube, you're going to have to do a little more work. This is a furniture bolt or nut, I guess, and pretty much the same here. Both these I think you can get at Lowe's for less than $1 probably. What you're going to need to do is drill down through the top here, and we're going to create a little cavity in this that this will go into. Now this is a little hard to get down there and get it started, but once you do, you just simply turn it in and it'll seat in there. Now I did put a little epoxy on that, and if you can see here at the end, it's sitting right there and ready to accept. And there you go, the furniture nuts inside the cavity here, and as you can see, as you tighten this down, this will come up on your round buffer tube and hold it in place. You might want to put a little dimple in the buffer tube with a drill bit just for better security, but still it should hold it in place. Okay, so what we've done here is built a very stable brace for a pistol which complies with the National Firearms Act. I'm in the process of patenting this, just so, you know, when people want to make it cool and tactical and whatnot, I'll have the patent rights. If anybody's interested in the intellectual property rights on this, please let me know. Appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Thank you.